Trade, Industry and Competition Minister Ebrahim Patel is currently hosting the Global Business Services CEO Forum in Durban. He is shortly expected to sign a working agreement aimed at creating 500,000 jobs before the year 2030. Our reporter, Nkosikhona Duma, is following proceedings and joins us now live to share more details. Nkosikhona, a very good afternoon to you. How exactly will these jobs come about? Any direction or clarity on that?
Well, good afternoon to you, Tami. I am joining you, of course, from Umhlanga. This is where Trade, Industry and Competition Minister Ebrahim Patel is at. And he will be signing, of course, that Global Business Services Master Plan that is really aimed at creating these 500,000 jobs. And essentially, South Africa here, we have heard that it is well positioned as a country, to host these various call centers that do work in various countries, predominantly in the UK. But as I've just heard here as well, the United States is also becoming a great market. And I'm just walking to the minister right now to actually share more light. Minister, 500,000 jobs is a great ambition. We have heard government promising these number of jobs. How exactly will you ensure that this promise comes to light?
So what we're doing with this master plan is we're sketching out 4 scenarios, 4 jobs targets that we will set over the next 8 to 9 year period, and each of them are accompanied by a set of commitments by government and by the operators in the global business services as well as partners. So the kind of things we're going to be doing is to deepen the skills levels of South Africans. Remember, this is a service industry. It's really taking a problem or query by a consumer, applying knowledge, linguistic skills, problem-solving skills, and resolving that problem on behalf of a global client. And so by next year, early next year, we will publicly launch the master plan with a full implementation module attached to it. The work thus far has been to identify the exciting opportunities that the sector can bring for South Africa. And we've seen already over the last number of years a significant growth in jobs. And so next year, when we identify that detailed implementation plan month by month, year by year, what we're seeking to do, we'll tie that to specific jobs targets. Well, 500,000 jobs is really what the industry sees as the potential opportunity if we're firing at all cylinders and if everything goes well. So now we're going to break that up into jobs, targets and scenarios.
Well, Minister, we know that South Africa, of course, has competitive advantages such as the use of the English language, time zone alignment, but there are also players who are, competing for that kind of space, countries like India and the Philippines. Where do you think South Africa's strongest points lie here, and how exactly will we outcompete those countries?
Well, I think that the advantages of South Africa are many and varied, and let me point to a few of them. The first one is the ease of travel by business executives from the home country to the area where the business services are located. It's a short hop from London. You leave in the evening, next morning you're in the location. You go to your hotel and freshen up, and a few hours later you're in the call center and you can engage with people. So that's a geographic advantage. Secondly, we have a very diverse range of skills in South Africa, from digital skills to simple problem-solving skills. So our offering is quite diverse. It's not often known, but Mercedes-Benz, for example, has a larger number of digital workers in their internal call centers servicing the different Mercedes-Benz plants globally than in any other location outside of Germany. And that is because they can find people with digital skills in South Africa. So we also focused on those niche opportunities. The third one is that South Africa is very often a stable environment. We were able to show in the partnerships, even during the most difficult moment of our lockdowns, that key call centers were able to stay open and provide services
to public hospitals and governments and other emergency services across the world. And the fourth area is we have an incentive scheme that the DTIC provides to the industry that incentivizes companies who are looking for location to come here and set up shop in South Africa. And then, of course, it's also a country that has a particular attraction for the level of its infrastructure. We have telephone systems that work. We've got an increasing footprint in the digital economy, including in digital infrastructure. And one of the challenges we will face is if we want to scale up the sector significantly, we'll have to invest more in fiber optic cables, in broadband access. In other words, in increasing the connectivity tools and machinery that is fundamental to the sector. Of course, some of the other infrastructure challenges we've had needs to be resolved. So we're thinking that renewable energy and all of the opportunities that it brings also provides a stable base for operation. Time zone advantage you've pointed to, that's very useful for the European market. But we want to compete for the United States market too, where we won't have the same time zone, but we may well be able to offer a varied platform. So those US states that may require a higher service during what would be their peak times may well coincide with what South Africa can offer. So it's that range of opportunities. And then I want to reserve one of our strongest things for last. And that is, I'm told by the operators of these massive call centers that South African operators are always able to bring something extra. That they're not always the cheapest in the sense of the wage rates, but they're often more capable of solving problems. If someone, the CEO of this operation that I'm in, have just given me the example, you travel on an airline, you have the ashes of your parent with you, you lose that, you phone the airline and you want to track that, you're traumatized by it. A South African operator is more empathetic, is more able to deal with that kind of situation, and so there are these soft skill advantages that South Africans bring.
Well, thank you so much, Minister Patel. Well, Tommy, that was Minister Ebrahim Patel. He's, of course, the Minister for Trade, Industry and Competition, saying that South Africa, of course, is well positioned to be growing in this services sector, of course, mainly call centers, and highlighting, of course, the advantages that the country has, touching on the geographical advantages such as time zone, but also touching on the soft skills as we have, such as South Africans being able, of course, to attend to issues with greater care.
Nkosikhona Duma, thank you very much for that update.